It's still unknown who will represent parts of the Central Valley in Congress. For the second election in a row, Democrat Adam Gray and Republican incumbent John Duarte are separated by a slim margin of votes. Thousands of votes are left to be counted. And KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala checked in with both and joins us now with what they had to say. Ashley?
Well, Lisa and Golston, just within the last half hour, we got this update that Republican incumbent John Duarte is still leading Democrat Adam Gray, but now by 2,281 votes in the race for California's 13th congressional district. But as you both mentioned, there are still nearly 30,000 votes left to count. Considering in 2022, they were both separated by 564 votes when it was all said and done, neither is surprised by this current situation.
It's exciting, and we'll let every vote get counted, and then hopefully we'll pull through again.
Freshman Congressman John Duarte is still waiting to find out if he'll hold on to his seat in the U.S. House of Representatives.
We're back in D.C. We're still making plans. We've got the omnibus bill. We've got the continuing resolution. We're still working on the farm bill or a farm bill extension. There's a lot of legislation still happening.
The Republican incumbent is separated by his Democratic challenger, Adam Gray, by about 2,000 votes, with tens of thousands still left to count. The race could help determine just how much control Republicans have over the House. So far, the GOP has 218 seats versus the 212 held by Democrats. California has so far sent 41 Democrats and 9 Republicans.
Are you encouraged that President-elect Donald Trump was able to flip 2 counties in your district?
Yeah, I am. I think that shows that the Central Valley is ready to realign itself and really start getting back to common sense.
They've been through this before. When they faced each other in 2022, both ended up going to new member orientation in Washington, D.C. They did not know the outcome of the race until early December. Duarte hoping to return to D.C. with the Republican-controlled House, Senate, and White House.
And I really want to be a part of it also to make sure that our families in the Central Valley, especially our Hispanic families kind of living in the shadows, have somebody really sticking up for them, making sure that as some of the immigration, deportations come down and everything else, that our families who are members of our communities, working hard, pursuing the American dream, they've been here raising children, aren't disrupted by some of the immigration stuff we're going to see coming forward.
It looks to me like a environment in which people are going to need to work together.
Meanwhile, former Assemblyman Adam Gray says he's feeling good.
So I think, people are looking for change, and we ran a campaign to present a change candidate, not more of the same nonsense that's been going on. And I remain hopeful that we're going to come out victorious. I just get up and, I'm just obviously still teaching at UC Merced, and I teach class on Tuesdays and Thursdays, working with the students, and that's always a lot of fun. And then, working my J job on the other days and, passing the time. And we're going out and also making sure everyone's vote gets counted. We've had to do a little door-to-door activity to make sure people who forgot to sign their ballot or had some kind of technical error that they're aware of that.
In 2022, Gray set up a recount committee.
Is that in place?
When you get in these extraordinarily close races, and they happen across the country, it's very commonplace to open up a recount committee. I think what confuses people is that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a recount, right? It just means you're prepared to have a recount if necessary in a close election.
So to be clear, Gray did say that, yes, that recount fund is still in play for this, if need be, in this election. Now, 2 counties with the bulk of the ballots left, Stanislaus and Merced counties, both plan to have ballot count updates by tomorrow night. Back to you.
Thanks, Ashley. The Congressional District 13 race is one of 2 U.S. House races that have yet to be called in California. The other is for District 45, where Democrat Michelle Steele is leading Republican Derek Tran by just 36 votes so far.